So I'm gonna be recapping the movie Spaceballs. If you haven't seen the movie, you should go watch before this video because this is gonna be a horrible recap of the movie. So the movie starts out with a really long sequence that is like the fucking death ship, the battleship thing. And then we just cut to the inside of it, and we see our first antagonist, Colonel Sanders. Basically, one of the Spaceballs notifies President Scroob that the planet Druidia is in sight. Except Dark Helmet doesn't know about this. This is when we meet Dark Helmet. Dark Helmet walks in very menacing, very short, as Dark Helmet does, his fucking glasses in hand. And basically, because he wasn't notified that Scroob already knows, he melted dude's balls off in retaliation, and is like, "You went over my helmet?" Yeah, and then the guy was like, "Well, more or less around it because your helmet's so fucking big and so he melts his fucking balls off, and it's fucking funny as shit because of the fucking terrible CGI. But they're looking at the radar now, except Sanders takes him to Mr. Coffee instead. So, and then they see the planet, and then we cut to the planet, and it's Princess Vespa's wedding night, or wedding day, except she doesn't love the guy that she's marrying. So basically what happens is she's questioning her father's ability to marry, like get married and shit, and that fucking doesn't work. So she goes right past him and runs outside and takes her fucking BMW looking ass fucking spaceship shit and flies that shit out of there. Basically dips and fucking books it. And then we learn about the Han Solo of our story, Lone Star, and his buddy Barf, who is a Mog, half man, half dog. He's his own best friend. But basically they're driving I forget what the name of it is, but it's like a fucking flying ass minivan. And basically they go, and except they have like they're kind of like gangsters. They've got some deep shit problems. They don't have enough money to pay off this one guy named Pizza the Hut. Yes, you heard that right. Not Jabba the Hutt, Pizza the Hut. He's a pizza, and he's with this guy named Vinny, and he's like if you don't pay up, Pizza the Hut is gonna send out for you. And then they're like, how the fuck are we supposed to get a million space bucks? So basically that happens, and then as fucking Vespa and her fucking Dot, who is basically C-3PO, as they're flying, they get tractor beamed into fucking Spaceball 1, aka Dark Helmet's ship. So basically Lone Star gets a call, and he's like he gets a call from the king, and the king's like, I need you to save my daughter, she's in trouble, da 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 da. And Lone Star's like, well, what's in it for me? He's like, anything. He's like, I'll do it for $1,000,000 space bucks. And he's like, what the fuck? But he's like, okay, I'll do it. And then he fucking does it, and he's like, hey, well, there's a tractor beam. And then Barb's like, fucking tractor beam, they've already got her. And except Lone Star's like, not if we jam it. He's like, hey, you're right. So they jam the radar with a big can of jam. And there's this black spaceball inside. He's like, I lost the creep. I lost the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. and he's like, you know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. But except before that, before she gets tractor beamed, they shoot up her nose. Like the Spaceball 1 shoots up Princess Vespa's nose, aka shooting at her. Except the the gunners look like they have Down syndrome. Except it's the asshole family line. And it's like, keep firing, assholes. So, yeah, so that happens before she gets tractor beamed. But going back, he's like, we lost the what, and the what? So he basically gives them the fucking shit. And except Princess Vespa gets saved by Lone Star and Barf. Except they don't know them yet. So this is so basically Barf helps Princess Vespa get her fucking luggage on top into the fucking Volkswagen, whatever the fuck Lone Star drives, and they fly away. Except they're being chased now, and basically Lone Star and Barf go light speed. Except Dark Helmet's like, no, light speed too slow. Light speed too slow. He's like, yes, we have to go straight to ludicrous speed. Except ludicrous speed is like a lot faster than light speed. So they basically go ludicrous speed, and he basically he regrets every second of going ludicrous speed. So basically, fucking Lone Star and whatever else are still going light speed, and except they see Spaceball 1 pass them, except they're going plaid. So they're like, they've gone to plaid. So yeah, so they've gone to plaid, and it's Dark Helmet's like, we passed them. He's like, pull the emergency brake. He's like, I can't, it's too dangerous. He's like, bullshit, pull it. So he pulls it, and he goes fucking flying into the fucking dashboard. But because his helmet's so big, it protects him, so he doesn't have like a concussion or anything. Actually, he might have a concussion. I don't know. He just falls down. But before he does that, he's like, smoke him if you got him. So that happens, and well then, because they're going light speed, they run out of fucking Lone Star and Barf. I'm just gonna refer to them as that. Lone Star and Barf run out of fuel, so they crash land into the middle of a desert, and they're like, take only what is necessary. Except she takes like literally everything, like all her fucking Her Royal Highness's matched luggage, all of it. So Lone Star and Barf are pissed because they have to carry all this fucking junk and shit. And then it's night, so they all go to sleep. Except Lone Star and Princess Vespa are still awake, and they're like, they try and kiss, except Dot's virgin alarm goes off, and basically prevents all of it. So they continue, and then they find this this fucking the sand temple in the ground. Except this is the home of a very elusive man known as Yogurt, and basically Yogurt is like Yoda, except he holds the Schwartz, not the Force, the Schwartz in a Wizard of Oz revealing style. Except he's a merchandiser, so he's got cereal boxes, he's got plushies, he's got fucking flamethrowers for the kids, he's got literally everything. And so then they fucking Dark Helmet and fucking Colonel Sanders check for a copy of Spaceballs the movie on the cassette tape, because it hasn't been released yet, but it's all the rage. So they check it, and they find out where that they're in the now, and then the now, and whatever else, and it's very confusing. But then eventually they find them in the deserts of whatever the fuck it is. So and then we go to President Scroob, who I haven't really talked about much, but basically his first encounter was he got beamed by Snotty into a room. So except his head was on backwards so he could see his ass. So his Snotty beamed him back, and they walked into the room because it was the room next to him. But then there's this woman who always calls President Scroob, and basically she has the power of inconvenience because she always calls at the worst times for President Scroob. So basically what's happening is Scroob is fucking going down on these two chicks in bed, and this woman calls and she's like, they found the princess and Lone Star and whatever else. So he's like, tell them to comb the desert. So then they're combing the desert with actual combs. He's like, found anything yet? Nothing yet, sir. What about you guys? Nothing, sir. And what about you? We ain't found shit. So basically that happens, and then except because Dark Helmet has the power of the Schwartz, he can sense other Schwartz. So basically he finds Yogurt's hideout and tricks the princess into coming with him, disguising himself as King Roland, who is Vespa's father. And it's fucking stupid because the CGI is horrible and everything else. But then Lone Star and whoever else have to save Vespa because he's learned the Schwartz and all this other shit. So basically they go to the Spaceball planet and they beat up these two guys, they infiltrate it like Hitman. They get the princess out of there, and convenient shooting helps them get through it. Except at the end, as they're leaving, basically these guys shoot the door handle so they can't get into their minivan, and then they shoot Princess Vespa's hair.
My hair! He shot my hair!
And then she proceeds to go fucking Rambo on these bitch ass motherfuckers. But so yeah, that happens, and basically what happens while they capture the princess, because I forget to mention a lot of things. I'm really out of order. Don't take my word for this. But basically what happens is they were gonna give her old nose back, except the code was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's yeah. So and then Prince Dark Helmet's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What kind of password is that? That's like the password that some idiot would have on his luggage. And then Scroob walks in. He's like, what's the password? And they're like, the password's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he's like, huh, that's the password on my fucking luggage. And he's like, oh, I said that. That was me. So that happens. And shit, I'm trying to remember where the fuck I left off because I keep jumping around this shit because I keep forgetting shit. Keep in mind, this is a really shitty what's it called? It's a shitty recap of a movie and whatever else, but it's a funny movie, so you should go watch it because you shouldn't take my word for this. But then we catch the fucking this Dark Helmet playing with his dolls, and it's fucking weird. It's uncomfortable, but they save the princess, except because Dark Helmet and Colonel Sanders know the answer, the key, the pin code to the air supply of Druidia. They steal the air. Where they transform Spaceball 1 into Mega Maid, so it's now a Transformer. They suck the air out, except with the power of the Schwartz, Lone Star is able to reverse the switch. And Colonel Sanders because they're like, what happened? And Colonel Sanders she's gone from suck to blow. So So now they save Planet Druidia by giving its air back, and then we got a whole ass fucking Star Wars bit where they try and infiltrate the brain and shoot the brain out so that they can whatever else self-destruct the place. And except Lone Star infiltrates, and the guard, he tries to, like, I forget what it's called. It's like a Vulcan whatever thing, where basically you put your hand on the neck and just like knocks him out. So he does that, except the guy's like, "You're doing it wrong. Your hand is much too high." So he helps him out. He knocks him out, and he gets in. Except fucking Dark Helmet's there, and so he and Dark Helmet have a Schwartz battle. And except before they battle with the Schwartz, Dark Helmet's like, "Before I will have you know, I am your father's brothers, friends, cousin's former roommate." Lone Star's like, "So what does that make us?" And Dark Helmet's like, "Absolutely nothing, which is what you are about to be." So they fight, except they knock the camera crew and whatever else. So they kill the camera crew, and Dark Helmet's blaming Lone Star for the camera crew death and whatever else. It's fucking stupid, but it's funny. It's amazing. And the Schwartz, they have like equal Schwartz size, and then the Schwartz gets twisted and whatever else. Except Lord Helmet knows tricks. So he's like, "I believe in a fair fight, so put her there." And so he puts her there, and he's like, "I got the ring. Oh my god, I can't believe you fell for the oldest trick in the book. Here, let me give it back to you. Oh, I dropped it. I can't believe you fell for that too." So that happens, but somehow with the power of the Schwartz, Lone Star is able to defeat Dark Helmet with a mirror, except this time into the self-destruct button. So everybody in Mega Maid are wondering what the fuck is happening. The self-destruct button just went off. So they're all getting in escape pods, except our three main antagonists, Scrooge, what's it called? Colonel Sanders and Dark Helmet don't get the thing, because obviously comedic value, and so they don't get to leave. Instead, their places are taken by like bears and bearded women and whatever else, and pizza. So it's like, yeah, I guess, I don't know, score 1 for the heroes. But so then basically they did it. They fly out. Our heroes have saved the day. So they basically take Vespa back to her wedding, and then then Lone Star and Barf go to a diner, and they order food, except Alien happens, and they see that, so they leave. Except Barf is really hungry, so he opens the fortune cookie, and it turns out the Lone Star is actually a prince, and it's one of the last alive in the galaxy and whatever else. So they go back to the wedding, and it's a very awkward wedding because this guy just wants to marry somebody, and except Princess Vespa doesn't want to marry this fucking yawny ass bitch. So Lone Star shows up and he's like, "She doesn't want to marry him. She wants to marry me." And she's like, "Yep, that's it." So they get married, and then they fly off into the sunset, and then roll credits. Except don't roll credits yet, because I forgot something again, like I usually do. So basically, there's also, I believe, a Planet of the Apes reference at the end, where basically something falls from the sky and apes on horses and shit. So, but then roll credits, and basically that's the end of the movie. So I hope you enjoyed this me trying to recap a movie. This is a horrible recap. I should not be allowed to do this, but I'm putting it on YouTube anyway. So if you want to see more, like and subscribe. Peace.
if you're living in a bubble.